Hello, everybody. This is Maxine Taylor, America's first licensed astrologer, and I have the forecast for the United States right here. I'm looking at it right now. Um, and I want you to buckle up because I have some news for you that I think that uh, may uplift people. In fact, I know some of this information will uplift a certain amount of the population. And it can be very positive news. Our world has just been, I can't even find a word for it. It has been sad. It has been frustrating. It has been aggravating. Um, I don't have to tell you. If you live on planet Earth, you know what I'm talking about. But I have, or should I say, and I have the forecast for the United States for February 2024. I had hoped to get this out sooner, but God had other plans for me. But here I am, and I'm so thrilled to be able to share this information with you. First of all, let me put on my glasses so I can see what I'm looking at. Oh, that's so much better. First of all, these are the trends. I can't tell you how they are going to affect you personally, but I'm going to give you every potential that I have in my medicine pouch, so to speak. Okay, let's start first of all with the sun. The sun is the center of our solar system. It is the center of our life. It is the giver of life. Now, the sun is in the 10th house. And as I always do, for those of you who study astrology, I'm going to give you the meanings, the mundane meanings of the houses of the zodiac, because if your birth chart, every house means pretty much the same thing. You know, we go around the wheel and you got it memorized and it's working. When we deal with a country, a corporation, those are mundane charts. And so the interpretation of the houses is different. The 10th house is the leader, okay? That's just a given. So with the sun in the 10th house, we're talking about the president, the party in power, our public image, and our leaders. And we have some leaders that are wonderful and a lot of people love them. And we have some leaders who are not wonderful and a lot of people don't think they're wonderful. The 10th house deals with the party in power, okay? And the 4th house, directly across, of course, is the party out of power. Well, since President Biden won the election last time, uh, the Democratic Party is the party in power and it rules the Democratic Party. Okay, keep that in mind because the sun, the giver of life, the center of the universe, is sitting right on the midheaven, the top of the chart. The midheaven is the cusp of the 10th house. It is powerful. As the sun moves through that 10th house, which I just described to you, it's going to light it up. It's going to bring it to life. And I was watching the news the other night and I saw that President Biden was not holding back on his vocabulary, let's say. And I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. The sun sits right on this midheaven. It's there now. It's going to hit the moon. And of course, this would represent, this whole 10th house would represent President Biden. The moon in Aquarius. We have an Aquarius midheaven, and the moon is in Aquarius. Aquarius is a very innovative sign. It's the sign of humanity. It is the sign of what's best for the whole is best for the individuals within that particular group. And so what is indicated here, the sun is going to be sitting on the moon. That is President Biden, and it is going to inspire him. He is going to rise to the occasion, whatever the occasion happens to be, because the sun stays in that 10th house all month. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch the 6 o'clock news, because I've got even more to share on and to elaborate on this 10th house. Okay, now we also have a new moon and a full moon. The new moon is on February 9th, just a few days from today. It too falls in our 10th house. It too triggers the midheaven, and it too triggers the president. When we have a new moon, it grows and it grows and it grows. It gives energy to the house it is in. Hello. Now, from the 4th until the 8th, the new moon is sitting on the president's, well, on the moon of the United States. The president is represented. I just can't say it enough for you and to you. This is the first time that I can say the reputation of the United States is going to improve because the sun is representative of life itself. And with the sun and the new moon in that 10th house, we're going to see a lot of the president, more than we have. We're going to hear more. He is going to be activated. So just watch it. Okay, now 2 weeks after the new moon, because that's when energy starts growing. And like I said, I saw him on the news the other night, and he was intentionally keeping silent rather than saying what was on his mind, and then he said what was on his mind. I thought it was very interesting. I couldn't wait to look at the chart, and there you have it. Okay, 2 weeks after the new moon, we have a full moon. Oh, I don't know if I said it. The new moon is in 20 degrees of Aquarius. Okay? The full moon on the 24th brings things to a head. That's what a full moon does. It is in 5 degrees of Virgo. Now, there are aspects that these lunations, the new moon and the full moon, make to the natal planets. I'm just really excited about this information that I can share with you, because it hadn't been something that made us particularly happy before. And I'll show you why I think we can start to think positively, if only for a while. You know what I'm saying? Each month is different. Join me next month. I've got something to tell you I think you're going to want to hear. Okay. The full moon brings things to a head, and it is squared Uranus and the United States ascendant, which is Gemini. Now, a square is not an easy, necessarily an easy aspect to deal with, particularly in a mundane chart, particularly in the chart of a country, because we're dealing with millions of people. So I'm going to, once again, describe, I do this all the time, every time I do a forecast for you, because if you're not an well, even if you are an astrologer, you can forget the mundane houses. You know what I mean? It can slip your mind. The mundane fourth house deals with the party out of power. Okay, so the first lunation, the new moon, represents the Democrats. The full moon will be uh, um how can I describe this? The full moon brings things to a head, and we'll hear a lot from the Republican Party. I hope that was politically correct. Okay. Now, this fourth house deals with real estate. Are you buying? Are you selling? Did the tornadoes take down your house? The floods? It deals with land. It deals with domestic affairs. We've got so many of those. It deals with the weather. Did you think that weather that was moving across from the west to the east and then up the northern corridor of the United States? Did you think it was going to let us alone? Not really. It deals with farmers, with builders, makes sense. Crops, mines, and seniors. And so here is the full moon. I've got so much on this table here. Here is the full moon dealing with all of those. And there will be bills introduced that both parties need to sign, need to agree to. I am not sure that the Republicans are going to want to do that, because this area right here deals with the public's the political attitude and the mood of the public, and it deals with public health as well. Uranus is the rebel. That is explosive. And so whatever the Republican response is, it's going to start once again rebellion, fighting. So I can't tell you if your particular bill that you had in mind is going to pass, because there's a group of people who, well, both parties need to agree to it, and the Republican Party may not. Okay, that's not really a surprise, because it has been that way. I'm not talking about partisan politics. I'm saying that for historically, the sure, I'll pass that bill if you'll pass this one, seems to take hold. Okay, now let's look at Venus. Venus is the greater benefic. Venus is love. It is money. It is beauty. And in a mundane chart, it is wonderful. It's been in the 8th house of secrets, of the treasurer, of our debts, of escrow, of taxes, of losses, death, and above all else, secrets. Venus is the lesser benefic. It brings the good stuff. It brings money too. On the 9th, it is going to move into the 9th house of the United States charts. Now, let me read you the mundane house, the 9th house. The 9th house rules the upper courts, okay? It deals with this superior, of course, the Supreme Court. Deals with foreigners, foreign travel, religions, the clergy, advertising, science, insurance, philosophies, world trade, and the university systems. I mean, you can identify with every category there in some way. If you have a kid who's in the university, if you travel for work internationally, there you go. But Venus brings blessings. So on the 14th, it sits on Pluto. That's the orange planet. When you think of Pluto, when I think of Pluto, I think of plutonium. Pluto is death and rebirth. Pluto is think of the scorpion. Rather than forego the pleasure of stinging, will sting itself to death. This Venus sitting on Pluto can smooth over international waters. It can smooth out people, negotiations in other lands. Venus is love, and negotiations that take place when Venus is activating them bring hope, because they can bring good news. That thrilled me. Now, Venus will sit on the South Node on the 22nd. The South Node in your birth chart indicates that which you have mastered in past lives. And so it comes easily to you. Well, in a mundane chart, it's the same deal, except traditionally in a mundane chart, there can be losses. And this is why I'm very happy to see Venus involved, because I'll sign your bill if you'll sign mine, has a Venusian tone to it. Then on the 28th, Venus sits on the midheaven, and it brings the public image of the United States to a beautiful place in the public eye, and the president as well. This will be the 28th, and by March 3rd, I know I had to share the rest of this, Venus sits on the moon. And this brings blessings to President Biden. It brings blessings to our public image worldwide. Venus is one of the good guys. Don't you love it? Okay, don't get too comfortable. Here we go. Let's see. All right. Let's do Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. Okay? It's what we think about. It's what we talk about. It's not an action sign. It's all talk. Now, when we have negotiations, Mercury is necessary. Okay? Necessary. So that there is a back and forth. Let's look at the ninth house. Mercury brings communication to our international associations in order to avert catastrophe. There has to be a give and take. There has to be some form of agreement. There's going to be a lot of talking. Good. We need that. Recent events have just been unthinkable. And the United States seems to be involved in all of them because it has negotiations, it has agreements with different countries, and because we are a humanitarian nation. Aquarius is the humanitarian, and the midheaven and the moon are in Aquarius. Our sun, in case you didn't know, is in Cancer, and we are a nurturing country. So we got, every time I see strong Aquarius in a chart, I also find strong Cancer, and it gives the human touch. So back to these negotiations, I think the president will have a lot of news for us. He's going to be talking more. And that will take place on this, starting the 14th, and it sits on the moon on the 16th. Yay. Okay, here's the kicker. Mars. Oh, Mars. Mars wants a fight. Mars just, Mars is impatient. It wants what it wants when it wants it. It, even in a mundane chart, can be hostile, aggressive, and it gets to the point. Now, with all the Venus love and all the Mercury talking, this Mars may be what we need to get things moving. So I want to reassure you on that, because it is going to be, let me see here, yes, trine the United States, Uranus, and ascendant. There is a sense of urgency here. Mars is what you fight with and fight for. There can be a lot of in-house stuff that goes on, but Mars will get it going quickly. I was so enamored of Venus, I forgot to share with you good old Jupiter in the 12th house. Now, Jupiter is the greater benefic. The two planets, Venus and Jupiter, are the benefics. They both bring positives. Now, Jupiter expands what it touches. Jupiter deals with truth, and it's the good guy. Venus deals with love and money and blessings and art. Together, they can bring about beautiful things. The 12th house, I'm going to read you the mundane versions. Bribery, spies, hidden enemies, prisons, jails, hospitals, criminals, crime, charitable institutions, secret societies, welfare. So, and there can be arguments that come up again about slavery and the United States. That has come up recently, the past week. People who are incarcerated, prisoners of war. Here's Jupiter, the great benefic, saying, what can we do to bring about the good stuff in this area? I do think that the private negotiations will be blessed, absolutely. And the public ones will have Venus on their side. The public ones will have the press to report what's going on. And they will have Mars that says, let's get this show on the road, fellas. Okay. So that's what I've got to share with you. You can tell I'm very excited. I'm tripping over my words because for the first time I'm seeing movement forward. I am not liking Mars sitting on Pluto. Okay. Pluto is death and rebirth. Pluto is secrets. Pluto is all or nothing when it comes to the upper courts, foreign travel, airlines, of course, higher education, religion, advertising, science, insurance, Supreme Court, world trade, and universities. So please join me next month when Mars moves out of that 9th house and into the 10th house of the party in power and President Biden. It's going to be a humdinger. I can hardly wait to see it. I think we're going to hear lots of news from President Biden. And I'm not sure he's going to mince his words. So stay tuned. And until next time, send light to your country, to every country, and see people coming together as friends, not as warriors. I know that there are a small faction in some countries that are just barbaric. See them subdued. See them changing or leaving, if you get my drift. Bless our country, bless our planet, and bless you. So till next time, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now.